Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to my garden and welcome to day 16 of my 30-day garden transformation challenge. This rock star beat me outside this morning. She was out working by 5:30 a.m. while I was still inside waking up and drinking my coffee. She's smart because it's supposed to get into the triple digits today, so it's time to get outside while it's still cool and get started on my daily routine. Sadie watered my plant stash even before I had a chance to film it again. I feel like I'm getting spoiled with all her help this summer. After saying hi to the bunnies and chickens, I started my routine by deadheading my Gertrude Jekyll rose. This rose is absolutely beautiful, but it is so thorny it's almost scary. While I was at it, I trimmed off all those extra canes around the base so I don't have to avoid walking through here for fear of getting poked a million times by those thorns. After deadheading, I moved on to weeding this area. I pulled up all the little weeds growing around Gertrude Jekyll and in between the garden beds. This area definitely needs a fresh layer of mulch, but I've been going back and forth about replacing the mulch with gravel between these beds. So I've been putting that decision off for now. Part of me likes keeping the mulch because I can be a little messier back here. If I spill soil while I'm planting, I don't have to think twice about it. But I also know gravel would look just so clean and so finished. I'm still mulling it over and I'm sure I'll make a decision eventually, but for now, I'll just keep pulling the weeds. For planting, I decided to plant up these sad containers by the chicken coop. I stopped watering them last year after my last flock passed away and I just haven't gotten around to replanting them. I decided to use some leftover boxwoods from my plant stash along with these beautiful Bossa Nova begonias. I especially love seeing these begonias in hanging baskets at the garden center, and I actually think they're going to look really beautiful against these dark containers. I have a feeling that chickens are going to enjoy their new decorations too. Oh, and by the way, I know a lot of you have suggested painting the hardware cloth on my chicken coop black so it disappears visually, and that is definitely on my list, just not today. After that, I headed up to the front garden to fertilize my lime tree. I think this tree is finally settling in because I'm starting to see little blooms, which hopefully means we'll have some fruit before too long. It's a bear's lime, so the fruit should start setting around this time, and if all goes well, be ready to harvest around November. This tree replaced an older lime that unfortunately died the year after we moved in. We were so disappointed because it had the most delicious limes, and I'm pretty sure it was a bear's lime too, which is the most common variety grown here. And with that, my daily routine for day 16 was finished. Every day I knock out these small routine tasks first, and then I move on to one focused project that makes a notable difference in the garden. Today's project is one I've been wanting to tackle for quite a while, and that was, of course, painting the fence. All right, so this part of my fence actually fell over in a really crazy windstorm we had earlier on this spring. I think it was in May, because I think it was when I did my May garden tour. My garden was looking so beautiful. It was absolutely peak. And then like the day before I filmed my front garden tour, we had this crazy windstorm that knocked over this part of the fence, knocked over a bunch of plants, and just kind of brought me back down to size. Mother Nature was telling me, don't get too excited. So we had somebody come and replace this fence, which I think eventually this entire fence will be replaced because it keeps falling down. We have about an acre property and the whole thing is fenced in, which is pretty common for California. We usually fence in our properties, and it's so interesting when I go to the Midwest and I see properties that are not fenced in. I'm just always taken aback because it's so common to have fenced in properties here. And because I have goats just on the other side of this property, it's especially important to have it fenced in. The goat owners on the other side also have a goat fence, so there's actually a double fence, so I don't have to worry too much about the goats coming over or trying to eat my plants that kind of grow through the fence or anything like that. So anyway, back to the painting. The color of this is Bear Slate. It's SC102. It's a stain color, and it's not quite black. It's more like a gray black. And this is actually the same color that I painted my fence at my last house, and I really like it. It's just like not intense enough to be black, but it still gives that depth that I like when I have a dark painted fence. To me, I don't think I'll ever go back. And I was thinking back about when I first painted my fence slate. I was so going back and forth on it. I couldn't make the decision because it just felt like such a big deal. And now I am totally pro dark fence because it just makes the fence disappear, and I just think it looks so good. The only problem is you do have to kind of keep it up a little bit. So I'm just kind of fixing all the parts of the fence that the guy who came and replaced it, I'm just repainting them. And then Jason also added a plant stake to this podocarpus that I just planted. This is one of those podocarpus that I got from that landscape project, the Roberta Walker project. So I just transplanted this, and this one's actually taking really well. But when the fence fell over, it pushed this podocarpus over, so we do have to stake it up now. So I painted that stake as well, and then just worked on this. And I have to say, it was so hot. It was only like 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, and I was already sweating through my coveralls. And that's another thing that I will say. If you guys don't have a pair of coveralls like this, I would highly recommend thrifting a pair of coveralls. These are men's. They're huge. They're way oversized on me, but I end up using them all the time because I don't have to worry about if I'm doing a really, really dirty job, just getting them totally messy. It's my messy clothes and I don't have to worry about it, but they are quite hot. I don't know if you guys can see, but I'm sweating through them on my back. It's just so hot today, and I'm in my office doing this voiceover this afternoon. It's like 105 degrees out, and you guys can probably hear my air conditioner in the background, and I'm sorry about that, but it's just, I just have to do it. So anyway, this fence looks so much better all painted in. I do have to kind of work a little bit more in this back area, but this is kind of like the last area I really want to focus on because it's so close to the street, and our street is pretty busy and the cars drive by really fast. So I don't want anything too crazy up here, but I have been thinking about some things, including possibly even maybe a tunnel, like a flower tunnel or something like that. I don't know. I'm starting to dream. Then I moved on to the center island. Jason put in some more stakes for these crepe myrtles. These are Tuscarora crepe myrtles, and they are in full bloom and absolutely gorgeous. And these guys are only about 2 years old, not even quite 2 years old, and they're just looking so good. This is the same variety that I had in front of my last house, and I can't wait for them to get big, to cast a little bit of shade. I just think that they're just going to be so gorgeous, and framing this little pathway in my center island is just going to look really, really beautiful. So I just went through and I painted the stakes. Not something that's necessary. I just think it makes the stakes kind of disappear, so you don't look at them. Now, I don't technically want my stakes on for that long. I only want them on for about a year, maybe 2 years. But when we stake our trees, we stake them so incredibly loosely. The stakes aren't actually holding them up at all right now. So it's not limiting their growth or their strength. It just holds them up if we get one of those really, really bad windstorms. So if you're going to stake a tree very strongly and actually have it adjusting the tree and correcting the tree, you really only want to stake it for about a year because you don't want to cause any damage to the tree. But the way we're staking these are just to protect it against really strong wind. Okay, then I moved on to touching up the fence in the long border over here. This is kind of over by my metal workshop plant stash area. And this area, before all these plants were planted, there wasn't much in the ground. And this is the area that the contractors who installed our concrete patio in our backyard, this is where they cleaned off all of their supplies. And I can't blame them because they had to have some place to clean it off. And I'm sure they thought they were out of the way, but they did get some of the concrete on the fence. And I've tried rinsing it off and I've tried scrubbing it off, but you can kind of see there's like little concrete staining. It's like little white stains, especially at the bottom of the fence. So I decided just to come in and to restain it and to, basically cover it up, and it ended up making a huge difference. Now, I know I have broken fence posts here on the other side of this fence. This is the opposite side that I was just working on. There is a little, I don't even know what you would call it because it's sheep and goats mixed together, and they are so annoying because they like push up against our fence and break our fence, and there's no secondary goat fence over on this side. And I've actually gone over to my neighbor, talked to them about it, told them, that it was an issue and they were breaking our fence posts and all that kind of stuff. And unfortunately, they don't speak English very well, and so I don't even know if they understood what I was saying. And I think Jason and I have decided what we're going to do is we will probably install a secondary fence behind our fence once we actually replace this one with a good fence, because I don't want those goats and sheep messing with it. Now, the goats and sheep, they are trapped into another area that's away from the fence, but they always get through it. They absolutely always get through it. And it's probably like, once every other week they get out and then they start banging up against this fence. So you're just always going to see broken panels on this fence, and it's just something that I will always have to address, and I try not to get too annoyed about it. Then I moved on to the backyard. This is actually behind the greenhouse. This is another part of my fence, the third part of my fence that's completely breaking down. Yes, we need to replace our whole fence, but I'm just terrified for how much that's going to cost. Luckily, my neighbor behind me is really sweet, and she replaces the fence posts when they break. She has a horse back there. The horse really doesn't bother them, but they do have dogs back there. And one time, these posts broke and the dogs actually came into our yard, and Monty just looked at them like, what on earth are you doing over here? Luckily they didn't argue or fight. Even though they bark with each other, once they actually came in contact with each other, they were fine. But that neighbor is very, very sweet. Okay, then I'm sorry if I'm just rambling here, you guys. I figured that was the best way to film the this video and to record the video of this voiceover, because it's just a bunch of stuff that I threw together in a video. I actually got a lot done this morning. So what I am working on now is I am painting trim, and I don't really want to I don't want to really ruin the surprise of what I'm doing painting this trim for, but I figure you guys can probably guess what I'm painting this trim for. I did a project like this last September, and I added trim and shutters and window boxes to the windows in the secret garden, and we are doing the same thing on the back of our house. And now I actually hired somebody to come and install the trim and the window boxes, which I'm very excited about because I just didn't want to do it. It was so much work doing it in the secret garden. It took Jason and I like days to finish it all. And so we're having somebody come in and just take care of it in one afternoon, actually tomorrow afternoon. So you guys should probably see that Friday's video, I'm guessing. But I, just to save a little bit of money, I told him that I would paint the trim myself. So I'm painting the trim the same color as my house. It's Benjamin Moore White Dove. It's just a really neutral, creamy white color that I use actually inside my house and outside my house. I just really like this white color. It just seems like a really good white color. And it's the same thing that we did in the secret garden, painting the trim white and then having the black shutters and the black window boxes. So it ended up being a really productive day. I got a ton of stuff done. I got a ton of stuff painted. Like I said in my daily routine, I still have more stuff to paint. I really want to paint the chicken coop. That to me seems like kind of a big job though, painting all the hardware cloth on the chicken coop, but I'm probably building it up in my mind to be a bigger job than it actually needs to be. So I really should just get out there and do it. But I am really, really happy that I got around to painting that fence and all that kind of stuff, because that was another job that was just bothering me. And I've told you guys this before. I start off each morning with walking through my garden, taking a look at it. Sometimes I'll bring a cup of coffee out there with me, but just kind of walking through my garden, seeing what's blooming, seeing what looks really great, and then also kind of noticing what's really bothering me that day. And the cool thing about this challenge is I've whittled away the things that are bothering me so much. I mean, don't get me wrong, I still have plenty of things that are bothering me, but the list is getting smaller and smaller each day, which is really nice. So it even got to the point that the thing that was bothering me the most was that fence that I needed to paint. So to me, that seems like a really great win. This is the 16th day of working on projects in my garden, and I really haven't worked more than, I would say, like 3 hours a day, and that's like the most. Mostly on average, it's usually about 2 hours. Which I just think is really fantastic. So I am absolutely loving this challenge, and I know a lot of you doing it are loving this challenge as well, and I love that you guys are adjusting it for yourselves. If you can't work 2 hours, that's okay. Just get out in the garden and pull one weed. That's why the daily routine, the goal is literally just pull one weed, and you've done your job for the day. I used to follow a girl on Instagram. I cannot remember her name right now, but she was British, and she would, she was motivating for cleaning the house and stuff like that. She was just really cute, and I liked watching her. Put in the comments if you remember her name. I cannot remember her name. But anyway, she wouldn't make to-do lists. She would make to-da lists. She wouldn't make a list of the things she needed to do for the day. She would just do things, and then she would write down on her to-do list everything that she accomplished, and that gave her so much confidence, and she felt so proud about what she did that day because she wrote it down as kind of like a reverse to-do list. And I just absolutely love that. I thought that was so great, and it was so gracious to yourself and kind to yourself. And that's kind of how I feel like this challenge is I'm not asking myself to do a ton. I'm not asking myself to go crazy and work 8 hours outside in 100-degree temperatures. I'm just asking myself to get outside, pull one weed, put my gardening shoes on, water something, just very, very easy stuff. And I'm just really excited that you all are responding so well to this and doing the same thing with me. Anyway, I will stop my rambling. That is it for day 16. Stay tuned for tomorrow, day 17 of our challenge. We are more than halfway through. We are getting so close to the end. It's very, very exciting. I hope you're all staying cool. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you all have a chance to get in your garden today.